Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. I'm just so incredibly excited to dive into today's topic with you because we're looking at something that, honestly, fundamentally rewrites our place in the universe. We're going on a journey far beyond Earth to explore a truly unimaginable cosmic discovery. We're going to break down the exact science, the mind-boggling scale, and the profound implications of finding something out there that absolutely shouldn't exist, but just might. Okay, so let's kick things off by challenging a pretty basic assumption. For thousands of years, we've looked up at the stars and asked, are we alone? And when we look, we inherently search for versions of ourselves, right? We're looking for tiny chemical signatures in the atmospheres of distant planets. We want liquid water, oceans, rocky ground we can actually stand on. But what if advanced alien life doesn't live on planets at all? What if a civilization simply outgrew the need for planets millions of years ago? What's truly staggering here is the sheer difference in scale. On one hand, our traditional search for biosignatures is hyper-focused on finding Earth-like planets, which is basically just a ball of rock and water. But contrast that with the mind-bending reality of finding artificial megastructures. We are talking about stellar-scale engineering here, folks. Imagine a colossal ribbon of metal and land wrapping entirely around a star. It's kind of like the difference between looking for a cozy little cave and looking for an infinitely expanding artificial universe. Section 1. The impossible discovery. A glitch in the cosmos. You see, the monumental realization that we share the galaxy with master builders probably wouldn't be some neat, perfectly decipherable radio signal saying, "Hello, Earth." Actually, it would likely start as a bizarre data glitch spotted by astronomers staring at computer monitors in a dark room. Right now, we usually find exoplanets using the transit method. Basically, we wait for a planet to pass in front of its star, which creates this smooth, symmetrical, U-shaped dip in the light. But then, telescopes detect an anomaly, a star whose light drops significantly and just stays down. The data doesn't show a smooth curve at all. It reveals a jagged, blocky, totally irregular dip. It's not a cloud of dust. It's not a swarm of comets. It's something massive and solid. So after months of analyzing infrared data, which shows this object is actively absorbing star energy and radiating massive amounts of heat, exactly like a living space would, the scientific community calls a global press conference. The lead scientist steps up to the mic, takes a deep breath, and delivers the news. We have found an artificial structure, and it is bigger than our entire solar system. Just imagine those news alerts hitting your phone. Imagine the crowds gathering in public squares. Literally everything changes in that exact moment. Section 2. The physics of Ringworlds, the scale of the impossible. All right, now that we've found it, we have to try to wrap our minds around the hard physics of a structure that completely defies human intuition. To even understand what we're looking at, we need a baseline. So think of a Dyson sphere. That's a hypothetical shell built entirely around a star to capture 100% of its energy. Now, building a full solid sphere would be incredibly difficult, maybe even impossible, to keep stable. But a ring world? Well, that is a slightly more manageable variation of this extreme concept. It's essentially a massive slice of a Dyson sphere, a continuous spinning ribbon orbiting the star. But the absolutely crucial point here is the scale. 3 million. Let me put that into perspective. If this ring world is built in the habitable zone, so about 93 million miles from its star, basically the exact same distance Earth is from our sun, and if that ribbon is 1,000,000 miles wide, the flat inner surface area equals 3 million Earths. 3 million. That means entire civilizations could rise, fall, and turn to dust without ever meeting their neighbors on the exact opposite side, separated by hundreds of millions of miles of land. It's literally a canvas of infinite space. But wait, how do you actually survive on a flat ribbon floating in a vacuum? Well, it requires some seriously brilliant engineering. First off, to create spin gravity, the entire ring has to spin at an incredible 770 miles per second. This creates centrifugal force, pushing everything on the inside outward, which feels exactly like normal gravity to anyone standing on the surface. Next, to stop the atmosphere from just spilling out into space, you need giant rim walls. We're talking thousands of miles high, acting like the sides of a tray, trapping the air, clouds, and oceans inside. And since the inner surface always faces the star, it would technically be eternal noon. To fix this, they'd use an inner ring of massive orbiting shadow squares. These would block the light at regular intervals, creating an artificial day and night cycle. I mean, it is just engineering perfection. Section 3.
The earthly shift. Humanity's reaction.
Let's pivot back to Earth for a second to examine the profound shift a discovery like this triggers. Have you heard of the Kardashev scale? It's a measurement of a civilization's technological advancement based on its energy usage. Right now, humanity sits at a mere type 0.7. We haven't even mastered our own planet's energy yet. The builders of the Ringworld, however, they're a type 2 or maybe even type 3 civilization. They have harnessed the entire output of a star. This totally shatters the illusion that we're the absolute peak of intelligence in our little corner of the universe. This realization would trigger a massive societal domino effect. Obviously, there'd be deep religious and philosophical debates as we confront our own microscopic insignificance. But politically, wow, the world would change overnight. Terrestrial border conflicts would be instantly trivialized. Think about it. Why fight over a tiny border on a tiny rock when a world with 3 million times our living space is sitting right across the cosmic street? Global governments would almost certainly unify, and funding for space exploration would absolutely skyrocket. It would no longer be just science. It would become a critical matter of human survival and understanding.
Section 4. Voyage to the Arch. The silent voyage.
So the big question, how do we actually reach something that's 20 light years away using our current or even near future technology? I mean, our fastest current spacecraft would take about 70,000 years to travel just 1 light year. That's not going to cut it. Instead, we'd have to use a laser launch system to push tiny, chip-sized starshot probes attached to ultralight sails up to roughly 20% the speed of light. Then comes what we call the silent voyage, 100 years of deep space travel, where entire generations of humans just wait on Earth. And then it takes another 20 years just for the data signals to physically travel back to us. But man, when those staggering high-definition images finally arrive, the probes reveal incredible, totally unimaginable landscapes. We're talking oceans deeper than the Pacific, stretching for millions of miles, mountain ranges that make the Himalayas look like speed bumps, acting as massive climate barriers. They show hurricane weather systems the size of Earth just drifting across the flat landscape. But perhaps most chillingly, the cameras reveal massive artificial structures and giant cities. And many of them are completely dark. They're running on an automated energy grid, sure, but they look entirely abandoned by their builders. Eventually, of course, we send ourselves. We build massive generational colony ships. Just picture yourself standing at the window of that spacecraft as it finally approaches. From orbit, a normal planet just looks like a marble. But the Ringworld, it looks like an endless glowing arch. And here's the wildest part. On the Ringworld, the ground curves up. It's this uncanny spatial paradox. You don't look out and see a horizon curving down away from you. No, you look up and you see continents, oceans, and clouds hanging directly over your head millions of miles away. It's completely surreal.
Section 5. Mystery of the Creators. The ultimate cosmic detective story.
Now, this is where our explainer shifts into the ultimate cosmic detective story. As human astronauts step out of their landing shuttles onto this soft, moss-like surface and start mapping their surroundings, they uncover an incredible twist. This place, it isn't a bustling, unified utopia. No, it's a patchwork of thousands of diverse ecosystems and biomes, clearly designed to mimic different alien homeworlds. They find primitive, wild alien life that has adapted to the ring's unique spin and light cycles, just living among these ancient ruins that have been fully reclaimed by nature. It's essentially a biological museum, a galactic ark, seeded with life from dying planets from all across the galaxy. Which inevitably leads us to the central, burning mystery: where on Earth, or rather, where in the galaxy, are the creators? If this entire thing is just a cosmic nature reserve that's been running perfectly on ancient AI for millions of years, where did the master builders actually go?
So what might our explorers uncover by plugging into the ring's subterranean control hubs? Well, there are 3 distinct theories here. Number 1, digital upload. Maybe they just outgrew physical reality completely and uploaded their minds into a digital utopia, leaving the physical ring behind as a sanctuary for primitive species. Theory 2, photocrisis. Perhaps they realized their central star was going supernova, or a massive asteroid could puncture the ring, so they quickly evacuated and spread out into the deeper cosmos. Or Theory 3, they simply faded away. Just like all empires on Earth, perhaps they faced natural civilizational decline, resource depletion, maybe plagues, over millions of years, slowly dying out and leaving their paradise to the wild.
Section 6. Humanity's Cosmic Future. Living with Giants. Finding and setting foot on the Ringworld completely alters the permanent trajectory of our species forever. But here's the beautiful part. We would live on the ring not as conquerors, but as caretakers. It's a profound lesson in humility, really. We are simply guests in a house built by giants. Humanity would likely establish settlements all along that endless ribbon, studying its ancient systems, protecting its incredibly diverse life forms, and just marveling at the boundless space. It would inevitably become the new center of human civilization, effectively ending our cosmic isolation once and for all.
And that brings us to the end of today's explainer, leaving us with a really provocative question to ponder. If we found a ring world tomorrow, what would be the very first thing you would want to explore? Would it be the millions of miles of deep oceans, the ancient abandoned cities, or maybe diving into the ultimate mystery of the creators themselves? You know, the universe is full of absolute wonders, and maybe, just maybe, an arch exactly like this is spinning out there right now, just waiting for us.
Please like and subscribe.